So Sharetha, I wanted to talk to you about your brand. As you just mentioned, can you share with us how have you distinguished yourself from others to be successful in your career?
So I will say that I've been so one thing about building your brand is that you have to be consistent in the message that you are sharing. And I will say that most people probably, when they think of me, they probably think of me as a businesswoman. Even when I was in corporate America, they always perceive me as knowing my stuff, so to speak, or even in college, 20 plus years ago, my one of my nicknames, my sorority line name was Strictly Business, because I've kind of always been in the business mindset and about my business. So I will say that just being consistent and sharing my knowledge in my field, sharing advice and being helpful to people, sharing stories as it relates to things that I experience in my business is how I have distinguished myself from others and continue to build my brand.
Thank you. And Kojo, can you share with us the same question? How have you distinguished yourself in your career?
Right. So for me, I took a first step back, right? So I felt like determining what success looks like for me, because my definition of success may not mirror anyone else's. So that was the first thing I had to do for me, because, growing up, we got all of these things laid out before us as what you need to do to be successful and what success looks like. So after I determined what my success looks like, then I went by setting personal standards for myself and meeting those standards. And from there, I feel like I stand my ground on my beliefs, right? Because no matter what we do, there's some portion of ourselves we have to compromise. So there has to be a line drawn, and I feel like my personal beliefs are those lines that I draw to make sure that I don't compromise more of myself than I would like to. And also, I want to ask questions that matter, the questions that matter to me, that matter to the business, that matter to all those involved. And I want to elicit feedback from the other people involved with whatever situation that we have to get accomplished.
Okay, thank you. And I would just ask you, Kojo, as you are doing this in your career, have you had to make adjustments? Like everything that you shared with us, does that change depending on which stage of your career you were in?
Yes, it also it changed based on the stage of my career, but also based on the industry I was in. Like, right. So I shared before, I was in multiple different industries. The same goals I had, personal and business goals I had in the manufacturing industry, I can't necessarily carry all of those over to the financial sector, right? So every time there's a change, I revisit my personal standards and my goals that I have for myself to see what I need to adjust at that particular time before moving to the next level. And the same thing with my career, right? So when I had no kids, it was like, I'm okay with working as many hours necessary to get the job done. But at the point when I had my son, it was like I had to take a step back because certain things I didn't want to sacrifice. And not saying that I'm not willing to work and go beyond to reach my goals, but I have a limitation on how much time I put into working those extra long hours, or when I work those extra long hours.